Initial claims, 473,000. We continue to make strides with low numbers. This is a post-COVID low. Last week's, though, which moved under 5, moves back over 5. 507,000 now. And continuing claims, 3,655,000. 3,655,000. It isn't quite the lowest. The lowest still 3,652,000. That was for the second week in April. Yes, that's when it was. So these are good numbers, but they're just not as good. And last week, not only revision to initial, continuing claims had a very subtle revision to a bit under 3.7 million to exactly 3.7 million. What's the aftermath? Well, 1.68, 1.69 on a 10-year. I'll give you a GPS on a 10-year. 174 is the high-yield post-COVID close. We want to pay attention to that. Joe, I enjoyed your talk with Buttigieg, a smart young man. I wish you would have got more into the notion, though, that isn't what's going on with Colonial Pipeline just a dress rehearsal for what our transportation secretary's hopes are. Get rid of all fossil fuels. He didn't seem too fond of Keystone. It really is a shame to see those gas shortages, and I know they will end. But truly, it is a bit ironic, all the nervousness over no gasoline, when that really seemed to be a campaign promise in the future, just with a different accent.
No more pipeline.
No gasoline. Yeah,
no more
exactly.
Pipeline. I asked him that. I go, I mean, you're trying to fix something that's delivering climate-killing fossil fuels to gas-guzzling cars around the country. Are you sure you're okay with that? But, you know, he's not. He answers everything. And I'm like, wow, this guy's got an answer. He's good. Rick, here's my question to you. As you're an inflation watcher, I don't know if I call you an inflation hawk, but I think I might call you like a Fed hawk to some extent. So with what we're seeing right now, I asked this question earlier. There are COVID effects. You know, people don't want to come back, so you got to pay them more. There's the benefits. People get to watch Netflix just hanging out at home, so you got to pay them more. I understand that. There's supply issues with commodities and things like that, and it's causing that. There's also a lot of money printing and a lot of proposed spending by the government. Do you think right now anything we're seeing in these hotter numbers actually is coming from the latter issues that I raised, the less transitory issues? Or do you think we're still just seeing the effects of what we can go through on a daily basis that would be? Do you think we're already seeing that we've crossed over and printed too much and spent too much and proposed spending too much? You think it's already coming home to roost? Or this is just other stuff?
See, I personally do believe that, but a chunk of that is my opinion. If I point to the facts are this, that we listened to Mr. Druckenmiller talk about monetizing the debt. And what monetizing the debt is it's a little different than QE, okay? It's QE with a long time horizon, meaning that instead of issuing debt that you ultimately will pay back and the interest payments are going to go to real customers, okay, that isn't monetizing the debt. That's just creating a lot of debt. But when you monetize the debt, what ends up happening is that you never pay it back. In other words, the Fed could keep this on their balance sheet forever and take the interest payments and send them back to the government. Well, let me think. Think back to the credit crisis. Did we ever really get the balance sheet back down to where it was pre-credit crisis? No. Then we went right into this COVID issue, and I understand that it was really, it just happened. It wasn't like somebody made a mistake. Yep. So what we saw is we ramped it up again. So to answer your question, yes. Yes. I think we have a Ferrari economy that isn't firing on all cylinders yet. And what we end up doing is we put all these truckloads of U-Hauls on the back of all this debt. And it definitely is going to kill the speed.
Shepard Smith here. Thanks for watching CNBC on YouTube.